Listening to experts in global risk like Daniel Schmachtenberger and political scientists like John Mearsheimer.
In a system that has a specific architecture, which is anarchy, the states have no choice but to compete for power.
It's hard to ignore how the current global system of stateness continually falls into subtle yet savage multipolar traps. States appear to be racing to the bottom instead of raising their people to the top. With geopolitics feeling more like a no-winner, game-theoretic, nuclear-fueled anarchy, it begs the question, how do we become more than cavemen pointing lasers and flying rockets? Imagining future governance, on the other hand, feels refreshing. Like a piña colada on a hot summer day, it cools the head and offers a glimpse of more bearable conditions. But here's a weird thought. Considering we still act like cave dwellers, what if we imagine future global governance as functioning like a rewired caveman network? Hear me out. Picture a cluster of nodes, each one representing either what Balaji Srinivasan has controversially coined a network state.
So it's like a social network, except it has a sense of national consciousness and can crowdfund territory around the world and network it together.
Or what others more acceptably labeled a network society. Let's just call them a kind of network governance, disassembling it down to a decentralized, autonomous, yet interconnected governance structure. Sounds too good to be true, right? Coordination is always a challenge, but the network governance promises to put the work back in network. The blood, sweat, and tears, in this case, revolving around the justified demands of sovereignty. Quantifying sovereignty is a tough one, but Albert Hirschman's framework of voice, loyalty, and exit is a good place to start and should be a given for any citizen of planet Earth. In a network-style system, it is nice to imagine these three choices as inherent both within each node and across the entire network structure. The key mechanism? Fluid, self-regulating governance. Traditional states go astray when their values and goals become misaligned to the people they are created to serve, their citizens. Most people endure this misalignment because they have no other choice. Severe acquiescence signals governance failure. In such a network governance system, if a particular node fails to honor sovereignty, citizens have the freedom to exit, pressuring underperforming leaders and institutions and incentivizing them to change. If that particular governance structure continues failing the best interests of the people, they are able to withdraw participation. The more dissatisfied, the more people leave, and eventually the node will collapse under the burden of its own inefficiency. Market-driven governance could act as a forcing function for accountability, aligning state-level survival with citizen satisfaction. And here's where things get interesting. Move doesn't necessarily mean physically relocating. Network governance may exist as much in the digital realm as in the physical, with assets and governance structures seamlessly shifting across the decentralized caveman structure. The early foundations necessary for network governance architecture may all be laid online long before a physical manifestation materializes. Blockchain technology and features like immutable ledgers and decentralized autonomous organizations enhances transparency, adaptability, and overall stability, suggesting that network governance could transcend traditional political boundaries. Citizens would not just be passive participants. Network governance is geared so that citizens actively shape localized governance structures. In the case of the network state, with assets tied to their chosen state, individuals gain real-world influence. Voices find impact. Corruption, stagnation, and inefficiency become transparent, and governance can evolve through collective input rather than centralized decree. Ultimately, we all want exponential arms races, environmental destruction, and nuclear pissing contests to become a thing of the pernicious past. Most citizens, regardless of politics, would agree on this. States, on the other hand, states seem to agree on one thing and one thing only: partaking in games of power. Could a future system of network governance rewire our 21st century archaic caveman tendencies, and in doing so, put an end to the chaotic satire unveiling itself across our geopolitical stage? Or is this all just wishful hyperbole? What do you think? Could network governance be the future? Or is it pro-tech, effective accelerationist rhetoric?
You put way too much faith in technology.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below and join the discussion on Substack. Link in bio.